Okay, so picture this. You just got your keys, your new apartment. You're so excited,
Yeah.
thinking about how you're going to make it yours. But as you're settling in, you notice those little
Oh,
things.
yeah.
You know, the door that creaks every time you open it, or
Mm.
maybe a leaky faucet.
Right.
That's already getting on your nerves.
Yeah.
But don't sweat it. We've all been there.
Mm.
That's why today we're diving deep into renter-friendly DIY hacks.
I like it.
You know, those awesome tricks that help you fix those little problems and keep your place in great shape
Absolutely.
without, risking that security deposit.
Yes. Nobody wants to lose a month's rent over a noisy hinge.
Exactly. And speaking of noisy doors, mine used to sound like something out of a horror movie.
Oh, no.
Seriously.
Mm.
Every time I opened it, it was like a haunted house. But it turns out there's a super easy fix,
Oh, good.
and it does involve an exorcist.
Okay, good. So what'd you do?
Well, I learned that it's all about lubrication.
Makes sense.
You want to reduce that friction that's causing the noise.
Simple candle.
Okay.
Or even a bar of soap. Believe it or not.
Really?
Rubbed along the hinges.
Interesting.
Can do wonders. The wax acts like a lubricant.
Oh, that's a good tip. I've heard that before.
Right. It's like giving your door hinges a spa day.
Yeah, exactly.
But what about something a bit more permanent?
Well, for a longer fix,
Okay.
you could use a dry lubricant,
What?
like graphite powder.
Oh, yeah.
That won't be as messy as wax and won't attract dust,
Ah, I see.
which could make the sticking worse over time.
Good point. Okay. I'm going to add graphite powder to my DIY toolkit.
Good idea.
Now let's tackle another common renter problem.
All right, let's hear it.
That leaky faucet.
Oh, yeah, the dreaded drip,
It's so annoying.
right?
It is. And not just the sound.
Right.
It's wasting water, too.
Exactly. You're literally pouring money down the drain.
Uh-huh. It all adds up.
But the good news is, it's usually a pretty easy fix.
Really?
Before calling a plumber.
Okay.
Grab a wrench
All right.
and try tightening the handle.
Oh, that's a good first step.
You'd be surprised how often that does the trick.
Yeah. Makes
Over time, those handles can loosen up,
Right.
and that's what causes the drip.
It's like a loose screw, but with water consequences.
Exactly. But what if tightening the handle doesn't work?
Good question. Then it's probably the washer.
The washer.
Yeah. It's a small rubber ring that creates a seal inside the faucet.
Okay,
It prevents water from leaking out when the faucet's off.
got it.
But they wear down over time. They can crack or even come loose.
Oh, I see.
And that's when you get the drip.
So you have to replace it.
Yep. But it's not as hard as you think.
Really? I'm picturing a plumbing nightmare with tools I don't even know the names of.
No. It's a basic DIY job. Anyone can do it with the right tools.
Okay. What tools do you need?
Just a screwdriver, some pliers,
Hmm.
maybe your own... It depends on the faucet.
Oh,
And the
fine.
best part, you can find tons of tutorials online.
YouTube's a lifesaver for that.
Exactly. Just search for replace faucet washer.
Perfect.
Okay.
Okay. So I've got my tools. I found a tutorial. What's step one?
First things first. You have to turn off the water supply.
Of course. Makes sense.
You don't want a geyser erupting in your kitchen.
No, definitely not.
Find the shut-off valves under your sink.
Okay.
There'll be one for hot water and one for cold. Turn them both clockwise to close them tightly.
Got it.
Yeah.
Safety first.
Always.
Okay. Water's off, tools are ready. Tutorial's open. What's next?
Now you can remove the faucet handle.
Right.
That's where your screwdriver or wrench comes in.
Okay.
Once the handle is off, you'll see the stem.
The stem.
Yeah, that's the part the handle's attached to. The washer is at the bottom of that.
So I need to remove the old washer
Right. Use your pliers to carefully remove it.
and replace it with a new one.
Yep. Make sure you get the right size and type for your faucet.
So a trip to the hardware stores is in order.
Most likely, take the old washer with you so you can match it.
Great tip.
Okay.
New washer in place. Right now.
Just put everything back together.
Easy enough.
Tighten it all up, but
Yep.
don't over-tighten.
All right. Wouldn't want to break anything.
Exactly. Once it's all back together, turn the water back on and test it.
Hopefully, no more drips.
Fingers crossed.
But we should probably say, not everyone's comfortable doing plumbing repairs,
Definitely.
even if it is a fairly simple fix.
Yeah. If you're at all unsure about any DIY,
Especially plumbing or electrical stuff.
definitely. It's always best to contact your landlord.
They're responsible for the property anyway.
Right?
Yeah.
And what seems like a minor drip now.
Could become a bigger problem later on.
Exactly. Like water damage or even mold.
Oh, yikes. Better faith than sorry.
Exactly. Plus, most landlords appreciate you telling them about these things early.
Yeah. It shows that you care about the place.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's move on from leaks and talk about something that I always struggle with.
What's that?
Walls.
Walls. What about them?
Whether it's nail holes from hanging pictures or scuffs from moving furniture,
Yeah.
my walls always take a beating.
It's like they tell the story of our time and a place.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But those little imperfections can be a pain when you're thinking about your security deposit.
Aw. Nobody wants to lose money over a nail hole.
You know, I've been there panicking over a tiny hole like it's a crime scene.
Oh, yeah, I feel that.
But here's the good news. Spackle is a renter's best friend.
Spackle.
Yeah, for small holes or imperfections.
Okay.
A little dab of spackle does the trick. Let it dry, sand it smooth, and then touch it up with some paint.
And it's like magic.
It's like it was never there.
So easy.
And here's a pro tip.
Ooh, I love pro tips.
When you move in, ask your landlord if they have any leftover paint.
That's a great idea.
Having that perfect color match on hand is so helpful.
Seriously, it makes those touch-ups look seamless.
I'm definitely adding that to my move-in checklist.
Good call.
Okay, so spackle for the holes?
Yeah.
But what about those annoying scuff marks?
Oh, those can be tricky.
They seem to appear out of nowhere.
Like magic, but not the good kind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, in this case, the magic solution is a magic eraser.
Oh, yeah. Those things are amazing.
They work wonders for scuffs and smudges.
Just be careful if you have textured walls.
Good point. Test it in an inconspicuous spot first.
Exactly. You don't want to accidentally erase the paint.
All right, so we've tackled holes and scuffs.
We're on a roll.
Now let's talk about hanging things on those pristine walls.
Okay. This is important.
Without causing damage,
Yeah.
that will make your landlord cringe.
Yeah. The eternal struggle of renter decorating.
You want to make your space feel like home,
Right.
but you don't want to lose your security deposit in the process.
Exactly.
That's where command strips come in.
Ah, yes. The holy grail of renter-friendly decorating.
No more nails, no more holes.
And no more deductions from your deposit.
It's a win-win.
Definitely.
Now, speaking of things that can leave unwanted marks,
Uh-oh. What have you done?
I have to confess I'm a bit of a klutz.
I see where this is going.
And let's just say I've had my fair share of coffee spills on carpets.
Oh, carpets. Those can be tough.
They can. And I've definitely panicked over a few stains in my time.
But before you reach for harsh chemicals.
Okay. There's a natural solution that often works wonders.
Really?
Yeah.
What is it?
White vinegar and water.
Wait, vinegar? Like the stuff I use for cleaning?
The very same.
Yeah.
Mix equal parts vinegar and water in a spray bottle.
Interesting.
And here's the key. Blot, don't rub.
Blot, not rub.
Got it. Rubbing will just spread the stain and could damage the fibers.
Good point.
Once you've blotted as much as you can, sprinkle some baking soda on the area,
Baking soda? Okay.
let it dry completely, then just vacuum it up.
Wow, that's so simple.
Easy and effective.
It's like a DIY carpet cleaning session.
Exactly.
So vinegar is a multitasking superhero.
It really is.
But what about those super stubborn stains?
Oh, yeah, those can be a challenge.
Ones that make you want to rearrange your furniture to hide them.
I've been there.
So what do you do?
For those tough ones, renting a carpet cleaner can be a good option.
Renting one?
Yeah, it's way cheaper than replacing the whole carpet,
That's true.
and it can make a huge difference.
Where can you rent them? You can usually find them at supermarkets or hardware stores.
Good to know. All right, so we've got our doors swinging smoothly,
Check.
our faucets are drift-free,
Check.
our walls are looking good,
Check.
and our carpets are stain-free.
Check. We're on fire.
Feeling empowered yet?
I am. It's amazing what a little DIY can accomplish.
But before we move on,
Yeah.
let's talk about loose tiles.
Oh, yeah. Those can be annoying.
They pop up in the bathroom or kitchen,
Especially in older apartments.
and they're not just an eyesore.
Right. They're a safety hazard.
You could trip and hurt yourself.
Nobody wants that.
So what can you do?
There are a few renter-friendly fixes.
Like what?
Double-sided carpet tape.
Okay,
Or even removable drawer liner.
interesting.
Cut a piece to fit the tile.
Mm.
Press it onto the back of the tile.
Yeah.
Then press the tile back into place.
So it's a temporary fix.
Yeah, but it'll keep things safe and prevent accidents.
It's like a Band-Aid for your floor.
Exactly.
But what about something more permanent?
For that, there's shoe glue.
Shukru. What's that?
It's a moldable adhesive that's great for all kinds of repair.
I like loose tiles.
Exactly. It comes in small packets.
Okay.
You just knead it with your fingers until it's pliable.
Interesting.
Then press it into place. It air dries into a strong silicone rubber.
So it bonds to most surfaces.
Yeah. It's pretty amazing stuff.
I'll have to try that.
Mm-hmm.
But before I go on a sugar fixing spree,
Yeah. Good idea.
Are there any precautions I should know about?
Always double-check your lease agreement.
Right.
Some landlords might have rules about the types of adhesives you can use.
Makes sense? It's better to be safe than sorry.
Absolutely.
Okay. We've covered a lot today.
We have.
Doors, faucets, walls, carpets, tiles.
It's been a busy deep dive.
But there's one area we need to be extra careful with.
What's that?
Electrical issues.
Oh, yes. Electricity is not something to mess with.
Definitely not. Unless you're a qualified electrician.
Exactly. Safety should always come first.
So things like replacing light fixtures.
Or any complex electrical work.
It's best to leave that to the professionals.
Absolutely. Call your landlord or a licensed electrician.
Good advice.
But there is one small electrical fix you might be able to handle yourself.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
What is it?
Loose outlets?
Ah, those things.
Yeah. If you notice one that's wiggling around, you can usually tighten the screws yourself.
Okay, but
Before you touch anything, turn off the breaker for that circuit.
safety first.
Always.
All right, electrical safety PSA done.
Good.
Let's wrap up this part of our deep dive with a couple more plumbing issues.
Okay.
Starting with the dreaded clogged drain.
Oh, the bane of every renter's existence.
Who hasn't had to deal with that at some point?
It's a rite of passage.
But before you reach for those harsh chemical drain cleaners,
Yeah, those can be bad for your pipes.
and they're not exactly eco-friendly,
Right.
there are some gentler methods you can try.
Like what?
A good old-fashioned plunger.
The classic.
It's often surprisingly effective.
Yeah, it really is.
And if that doesn't work,
You can try a drain snake. A drain snake. That sounds a bit intimidating.
it's just a long, flexible tool.
Oh.
You insert it into the drain to break up the clog.
So plunger first, then drain snake if needed.
Exactly.
When would you say it's okay to use a chemical drain cleaner?
Honestly, only as a last resort.
Okay.
Those chemicals can be harsh on your pipes.
And dangerous if not used properly.
Right. So plunger and drain snake first.
Got it. Okay. We've tackled a ton of renter-friendly repairs today.
We have.
Feeling like a DIY superhero yet?
I am. It's amazing what a little know-how can do.
And remember, you don't have to be an expert to keep your space in great shape.
Exactly. Just a few simple tools and a willingness to learn.
That's all it takes. And before we move on to the fun stuff,
The fun stuff.
like decorating and personalizing your space,
Yeah, wait.
there's one final tip I want to emphasize.
Okay. Hit me with it.
Document everything.
Documentation is key.
It's the renter's version of CYA.
Cover your apartment.
Exactly. Whenever you make a repair, no matter how small,
Yeah.
take before and after pictures
Good idea.
and send them to your landlord via email.
That way you have a record of everything.
Exactly. Just in case there are any questions or disputes later on,
It's always better to have proof.
especially when it comes to your security deposit.
Absolutely solid advice.
Okay? We've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
From those squeaky doors to those pesky clogged drains.
It's been a journey.
Hopefully you're feeling empowered to tackle some minor repairs around your apartment.
I hope so.
Remember, you don't have to be a DIY expert
Right.
to keep your space in great shape.
Just a few simple hacks can make a big difference.
And in the next part of our deep dive,
Oh, yeah.
we'll be exploring the creative side of renting,
I'm excited.
sharing tips and tricks on how to decorate and personalize your space,
Without breaking the bank.
or sacrificing your security deposit.
This is going to be...
So stay tuned for part 2,
Can't wait.
where we'll transform your rental from functional to fabulous.
From drab to fab.
Until then, happy hacking, everyone.
Happy hacking.
All right, welcome back, everyone. So we've armed you with all the know-how to tackle those pesky repairs.
Right.
Now it's time for the fun stuff.
Let's do it.
In this part, we're going to transform your rental from functional to fabulous.
I like it.
We're exploring all the creative ways you can make your space truly yours
Right.
without risking that security deposit.
Gotta protect that deposit.
So let's dive into the world of renter-friendly decorating.
All right. Let's get creative.
And I think we have to start with the elephant in the room. Or should I say, the walls?
The walls?
Yeah.
Yes. Those blank canvases can be a bit intimidating.
They can. Especially when you're stuck with that standard rental off-white paint.
It's like the landlord's way of saying, here's a clean slate, but don't you dare touch it.
Exactly. But fear not. There are ways to add some color and personality
Oh, good. I was worried for a second.
without having to break out the paint rollers.
Right. We don't want to anger the landlord.
So spill the secrets. How do we transform those bland walls?
Removable wallpaper.
Removable wallpaper.
It's a game changer. It's not like the old school stuff. That was a nightmare to remove.
Yeah, that sticky mess.
Exactly. Now you can find removable little paper in all sorts of patterns, textures, colors.
Really?
And it peels right off when you're ready for a change or moving out.
So no more sticky residue?
Nope. It's like magic.
I can already picture a bold tropical print in my living room,
Feels amazing.
transporting me to a beach paradise.
Exactly. Create your own oasis.
But what if I'm not ready to commit to a whole wall of wallpaper?
You can use it strategically. Create an accent wall.
Well, that's a good idea.
It adds depth and visual interest to a room.
I like it.
Or you can get creative and use it behind shelves or furniture.
So like a little peekaboo moment of pattern.
Exactly,
Yeah.
adding a layered, eclectic look.
Okay, I'm loving these ideas.
Good.
So we've got our walls covered, literally.
Ah, nice.
Now let's talk about maximizing space,
Yeah, right.
especially in those small rentals where every inch counts.
Yeah, space is precious.
It is. So how do we make the most of it?
Floating shelves.
Floating shelves. Tell me more.
They're easy to install.
Okay.
They don't take up any floor space.
That's a plus.
And they're perfect for showcasing your personality.
Lego kind of things.
Books, plants, decorative objects, you name it.
So they're like little stages for your favorite things.
Exactly. Curate your own mini exhibit.
And speaking of displaying things,
Yes.
we can't forget about art.
Oh, art is so important. It can instantly elevate a room.
It can.
Mm-hmm.
And it has a touch of your personal style.
Exactly. But you don't have to spend a fortune on fancy gallery pieces.
Right. There are more affordable options.
Definitely thrift stores, online marketplaces. Even your own photographs can be amazing sources of art.
That's a good idea. What about framing?
Get creative, inexpensive frames from thrift stores.
Okay.
Or even DIY frames using washi tape or fabric.
Ooh, washi tape frames. That's so cute.
It's a fun way to add a personal touch.
Okay, so we've got our walls looking great,
Shelf.
shelves stocked with treasures,
Check.
and art adding a touch of sophistication.
Check. We're on a roll.
That's next on our decorating checklist.
Let's talk textiles.
Textiles.
Yeah, rugs, curtains, throw pillows.
Yeah.
They're like the cozy accessories for your home.
They add warmth and texture.
Exactly. They make your rental feel more inviting.
I love that cozy lived-in vibe.
Me too. But I know some people are hesitant about rugs.
I am, especially in a rental.
I get it. You're worried about spills and stains?
Exactly. It's a valid concern.
It is. So when you're choosing rugs,
Okay.
look for durable material.
That can withstand some wear and tear.
Exactly. And consider using rug pads.
Rug pads, why?
They prevent slipping and protect your floors from scratches.
Well, that's smart. I've definitely learned that lesson the hard way.
Uh-huh. We've all been there.
What about curtains? Any renter-friendly tips for hanging those?
Tension rods.
Tension rods, those are a lifesaver.
They are. They're easy to install and remove.
And no drilling required.
Exactly.
Okay, tension rods noted. What about curtain clips?
Those are great, too.
Okay, so many options.
There are. But before we move on,
Yeah.
I have to ask, what's your take on mixing and matching patterns and textures?
Oh, that's a good question.
Oh.
I'm always afraid of creating a chaotic mess.
I hear you.
Yeah.
But don't be afraid to embrace a little eclecticism.
Eclecticism.
Yeah. Mixing patterns and textures can create a vibrant, layered look.
Okay.
Just stick to a cohesive color palette.
So it doesn't become overwhelming.
Exactly. And remember, there are no hard and fast rules in decorating.
That's good to know.
It's all about creating a space that feels authentic to you.
I love that advice.
Yeah, but
Embrace the eclectic. Stay true to yourself.
that's the key.
Okay, we've covered walls,
Yeah.
shelves, art textiles.
Making progress.
I'm feeling so inspired.
Awesome.
But what about lighting?
Oh, lighting is crucial. It sets the mood and enhances the ambiance.
So how do we upgrade that standard rental lighting?
One of the easiest ways,
That's right.
swap out those boring light bulbs for something more stylish.
And energy efficient?
Exactly. LED bulbs are your best friend.
I knew you were going to say
They're a
it.
win-win.
I agree. They come in different tones, use less energy, and last longer.
It's like the superhero of lighting.
But what about those dark corners?
Table lamps and floor lamps are your solution.
So strategic lamp placement is key.
Exactly. It adds both functionality and style.
And if we're feeling a little adventurous,
Tell me more.
we can use string lights or fairy lights.
Fairy lights, always a good idea.
They add a touch of magic to any space.
Absolutely.
Okay, we've brightened up our rentals.
Looking good.
Now let's talk about the not so glamorous, but equally important part of renting,
What's that?
Organization.
Oh, yeah. Organization is key.
Especially in a smaller rental.
Right. You can make a huge difference in how spacious your apartment feels.
And it helps keep the clutter monster at bay.
Exactly. It's all about maximizing storage and finding creative solutions.
Okay, so spill the secrets.
Yeah.
How do we stay organized without sacrificing style?
Over-the-door organizers.
Those are great.
They are. They maximize vertical space, especially in closets or bathrooms.
I use them for everything.
It's amazing how much they hold.
They're like those secret compartments you see in spy movies.
Right?
Right? Over-the-door organizers, check. What else?
Underbed storage.
Yes. Utilizing that hidden space.
Exactly. Rolling storage bins fit perfectly under most beds.
And you can store seasonal items or anything you don't need regularly.
Out of sight, out of mind.
It's like having a secret storage vault under your bed.
I like it.
So we're maximizing vertical space using hidden storage. What other organization gems do you have?
Multi-purpose furniture.
Tell me more.
Think ottomans with storage compartments.
Oh.
Coffee tables with shelves or beds with built-in drawers.
Ooh, furniture that does double duty.
Exactly. Form and function.
I love it.
It's a win-win.
Now, before we wrap up this decorating and organizing extravaganza, there's one more thing I want to touch on.
Okay, let's hear it.
Personalization.
Yes.
The final touch.
It's all about those little details that make your rental feel like you.
It's about infusing your space with your personality, your memories. Exactly. It's those little things that bring you joy.
So how do we achieve that personalized feel?
Without making any permanent changes, of course.
Surround yourself with things you love.
Okay.
Photos of loved ones, travel souvenirs, favorite books.
Little trinkets you've collected.
It all tells a story and creates that unique feel.
And don't be afraid to experiment with different styles and colors.
Right. It's your space.
Maybe I love bold, eclectic decor, or maybe I'm more of a minimalist.
It's all about what feels authentic to you.
I love that advice.
And if you need some inspiration,
Okay.
check out Pinterest, Instagram design blogs.
So many amazing resources out there.
Tons of ideas to help you find your style.
I'm feeling so inspired.
Yeah.
It's like we've gone from renter anxieties to decorating confidence.
Exactly. You got this.
Renting doesn't have to be a compromise.
Nope.
With a little creativity and some clever hacks, you can create a space you truly love.
Absolutely. Make it your own.
All right, welcome back. So we've covered repairs, we've tackled decorating, and now it's time to talk about something that can be a little awkward.
Yeah. The landlord-tenant relationship.
It can definitely be tricky sometimes.
It can, but honestly, a good relationship with your landlord can make renting so much smoother.
Okay, so how do we build that positive relationship? Where do we even begin?
Communication is key.
Communication.
Yeah.
Okay, I can see that. But what does that look like practically?
Well, first things first. Read your lease carefully.
Oh, the lease. I know. It can be a lot of legal jargon.
It is, but it's important to understand those terms and conditions.
Right, it sets those expectations from the start.
Exactly. And if there's anything you're unsure about, don't be afraid to ask your landlord for clarification.
Makes sense.
Yep.
That lease is basically your roadmap for the whole renting journey.
It is. Now, what about when those inevitable maintenance issues come up?
Right. We talked about all the DIY fixes. But what's the best way to tell your landlord about those problems?
It really depends on your landlord and how urgent the situation is.
Okay, so like, for minor things.
A quick text or email is usually fine.
Okay.
But if it's something more urgent,
Like what?
a burst pipe or a major electrical problem,
Oh, yeah. Those are emergencies.
definitely call your landlord right away.
But no matter how you first reach out.
It's always good to follow up with an email.
So there's a written record.
Exactly. You have documentation of the communication and when it happened.
Like a paper trail for peace of mind.
Precisely.
Now, even with good communication, things can get tricky sometimes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So any tips for keeping those conversations respectful and productive?
Remember, you and your landlord have a shared goal,
Which is,
a safe and comfortable living environment.
makes sense.
So approach those conversations with a problem-solving attitude.
Okay.
Be clear about the issue, give all the details, and always be polite and courteous.
Even when you're frustrated.
Especially when you're frustrated. It can be hard, but it's important.
It's like landlord-tenant diplomacy.
Uh-huh.
All right, so we've covered communication about repairs.
Mm-hmm.
But what about when you need to ask your landlord for something?
Like what?
Say you want to paint a wall a different color
Okay.
or install a ceiling fan. How do you approach those conversations?
Put your request in writing.
Okay.
Be clear about what you want to do and why.
So all the details.
Yeah, and offer to cover the costs
Okay.
or to put things back the way they were when you move out.
Ah, so you show you're responsible and respectful of their property.
Exactly. Those gestures can go a long way.
Makes sense. So it's all about showing that you're a good tenant who cares about the space.
Precisely.
All right, landlord communication check.
Check.
Now, let's talk about another part of renting,
Okay.
being a good neighbor.
Ah, yes. Apartment living.
You're sharing walls, ceilings, sometimes even laundry facilities.
It's all about being considerate and respectful.
Okay, so what does that look like?
Keep the noise down.
Especially at night or early in the morning.
Right. And if you're going to have a party, give your neighbors a heads up.
It's just common courtesy.
It is. And it can prevent a lot of potential problems.
Treat your neighbors how you want to be treated.
Exactly. The golden rule of apartment living.
But what if you have noisy neighbors?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
How do you deal with that without becoming that neighbor?
Talk to them directly first.
Oh, really? Just have a conversation.
Sometimes that's all it takes.
And if that doesn't work,
Then you can let your landlord know.
so they can mediate the situation.
Right, they can help everyone feel heard and respected.
It's like landlord mediation for peaceful living.
Haha, I like that.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
We have
From repairs and decorating.
to communication and being a good neighbor.
It's all about being proactive, respectful, and communicative.
Exactly. Those are the keys to successful renting.
And by following these tips, you can transform your rental into a real sanctuary.
A place where you can relax, recharge, and feel truly at home.
Exactly. So go out there, fellow renters, and make those rentals amazing.
Happy renting, everyone.
Happy renting.